We're getting through it. We're getting through it. We're almost done. Fox News. Love Fox News, right? We all love Fox News. Massachusetts high school solidifies state title with help from transgender girl. Policy put under microscope. Brookline High School won a state indoor track and field championship late last month. Do we want to watch this? Let's watch this really quick. Okay. Okay, ad time, I guess. It's an ad. It's ad time. We got pasta. We got stuff going on. We got sauce. All right.
Capitol Hill, House Republicans are bills banning biological male transgender athletes.
Oh, no.
Meanwhile, over on Capitol Hill, House Republicans are moving to advance bills banning biological male transgender athletes from women's sports. It all comes after a judge ruled transgender women can compete in USA powerlifting. Our next guest says it's unfair to women. She went up against transgender swimmer Leah Thomas in the NCAA championships, where they both tied for fifth place. Riley Gaines joins us now. Riley, thank you so much for joining us again. Good to have you back. So jump back into this debate with us on what you see as unfairness for women's sports and transgender athletes who feel they belong wherever they choose to be.
Look, the thing is, if you believe in science, you know there is man and woman. To deny that is to deny science. It's to deny logic. It's to deny reason and, quite frankly, common sense. And that's why I'm grateful for the leadership of Representative Greg Suby, who is putting forth this bill. I know Tuberville is also putting forth this bill, and it has great backing. I actually just had a Congress member from Kentucky, Andy Barr, just message me and let me know he signed on as a co-sponsor. Lisa McClain, Virginia Fox, so many powerful people finally standing up to this nonsense.
You say that the trans battle in sports is erasure of what a woman is. Explain.
Absolutely. And first, from my experience, I saw it in sports, but now that I'm in the position I am in, I realize it's so much bigger than sports. We're changing the language we use. We're no longer allowed to use terms like motherhood or breastfeeding. We are eradicating women as a whole. We're changing dictionary definitions. We have a sitting Supreme Court justice who can't define what it is to be a woman because she claims she's not a biologist. I'm also not a biologist, but it doesn't take one to acknowledge what a woman is and the struggles that we go through, and we deserve to be celebrated on our own physical limitations.
There are 18 states, we can put the map up, that are banning transgender females from competing in women's sports in schools. We know that that is happening. But on this latest decision on USA powerlifting, where trans women can now compete in USA powerlifting. This is the ruling from the judge in that case, saying the powerlifting's evidence of competitive advantage does not take into account any competitive disadvantage a transgender athlete might face from, for example, increased risk of depression and suicide, lack of access to coaching and practice facilities, or other performance suppression common to transgender persons. That is the judge who ruled in favor of transgender athletes in that particular case. What was your reaction to that in the powerlifting case?
If there's one sport where the difference between male and female in terms of sheer strength and athleticism would shine, it's powerlifting. We know testosterone has an effect on performance outcome and strength. Men on average, and this is not opinionated, it's a fact, men on average are taller, they're stronger, they're more powerful, faster than women. Again, to deny that is denying science. We have so much data and scientific evidence that prove this. And you know what I bet is ironic? I bet the same organization that deemed this has extremely strict doping policies for women, which there are lots of organizations who have contradictory policies in regards to these two topics. And I bet this is the same case in that instance.
Riley, just with the few seconds that we have left here, what has been the reaction and what have you sort of lived with speaking out on this issue as you have, as an athlete, as a woman?
There is so much support, which shows me how the true majority of this country feels. I have parents, I have athletic directors, people within the NCAA, of course, so many athletes, both young and old, messaging me constantly, thanking me, telling me their stories, letting me know my story is not unique, and telling me to fight on, because that's how the overwhelming majority of people who are directly impacted by this feel.
Really interesting. Riley Gaines, appreciate you coming on and telling your story and sharing your thoughts on this debate that seems to be raging across the country. Thank you very much.
So nothing new from that, right? Also, thank you, Sasha. I really appreciate it. I love this outfit. I got it so I could do some job interviews and stuff. Hang on 1 second. I'll finish talking about this. I just have to finish a couple messages, okay? I'm so sorry. So sorry many of you can't chat in the stream. I do apologize about having to limit it to followers for a month only because honestly, I don't want to, but the other night I was raided by a Chan board and a bunch of people joined my Discord and started shouting racial slurs and stuff, so I have to limit it or else risk my stream getting taken down, and I don't want that, so... Yeah, I do apologize about that. 1 second. Okay. All right. Going to be an interesting evening in the treehouse tonight. But we'll see how that plays out. Okay. A Massachusetts high school was thrust into the spotlight late last month as it won a state championship in girls indoor track and field with the help of a transgender student athlete. Chloe Barnes picked up 5 of Brookline High School's 63 points in the girls' 55-meter hurdles in late February with a time of 8.72. Barnes finished 4th in the race and behind one of her teammates. Barnes, however, failed to make it to the Meet of Champions final later in the state tournament. Brookline won the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletes Association Division I Indoor Track and Field Championships over Newton North. Wachusett and Central Catholic Newton North scored 5 points in the championship meets. Hang on, wait. Chloe Barnes is the trans person we're talking about here, right? She scored 5 points out of 63? And she finished 4th and failed to make it to the Meet of Champions final. And she's the problem. Okay. However, controversy ignited this week as Barnes' run was highlighted on social media. Icons Women, a female athlete advocacy group, noted that Barnes, a biological boy, pushed another girl from potentially getting into the finals in the hurdles competition. The group noted that the boys' hurdles are taller than the girls' hurdles in high school athletics as well. The ordeal came under fire. "Simply cheating. This should not be allowed," Olympian Andy Turner tweeted. Fellow Olympian Sharon Davies agreed. "This is cheating." Massachusetts officials essentially created the pathway for transgender girls and boys to compete against the genders they identify with in 2012. 2012! That was 11 years ago! And it's just now a problem, huh? Where there are sex-segregated classes or athletic activities, including intramural and interscholastic athletes, all students must be allowed to participate in a manner consistent with their gender identity. The policy from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education reads, With respect to interscholastic athletics, the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association will rely on the gender determination made by the student's district. You will not make separate gender identity determinations. The Cypress, an independent student newspaper for Brookline, noted the public schools of Brookline's policy regarding transgender students in interscholastic athletics, which was published in 2014. Students who are transgender may participate in accordance with the gender identity they consistently assert at school. Interscholastic athletic activities are addressed through the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association Gender Identity Policy, MIAA, clarification, the policy says. Wow, what a fucking mouthful. Barnes told the student newspaper at the time that they wanted to practice with the girls' team, but raced for the boys' team over fear of others questioning what they were doing. Barnes made clear they were not going to let fear get to them as they were set to compete for the girls in 2022 and 2023. Barnes also had a blunt message for those trying to bar transgender athletes from advocates. Sorry, let me start that sentence over because I totally fucked it up. Barnes also had a blunt message for those trying to bar transgender athletes from advocates trying to keep biological males from competing against girls in sanctioned competitions. Deal with it, Barnes told the newspaper. Just deal with it. True, just deal with it. Barnes did not do anything illegal and appeared to participate within the rules of Massachusetts high school athletics. Whether it was fair for that to happen is another question. From collegiate athletics to high school sports, a debate has grown over whether having transgender women and girls compete against biological females and girls is really an equal playing field. Leah Thomas, a transgender female, won NCAA's women's swimming championship in the 500 free last March. The debate has even gone to the doorstep of the NCAA. Recently, a Vermont Christian school was banned from future state-sanctioned tournaments for its girls' basketball team's refusal to play another opponent who had a transgender girl on the team. I remember reading about this story, and as I recall, the Vermont Christian school withdrew from the tournament. Not banned. Let's see. Oh, yeah, look at the forfeited a game. They withdrew from the tournament. And they'll be prohibited from participating in future tournaments. Wow, look at that, look at that. Ruled that the Mid-Vermont Christian School had violated policies and is ineligible to participate in future tournaments that it sanctions. Wow. Well, you go figure, a religious organization breaking the rules. Wow. They withdrew from that tournament. They withdrew. They weren't kicked out. They withdrew. That was their choice. But whatever. Here we go.